Hello everyone, welcome. Rabbi Abe here. I'm going to share with you a secret from the Zohar and from the ancient texts of what are called the 10 emanations as to how to create and maintain endless blessings in what you do. Before we get started, I just want to mention new crash course upcoming February 25th. Please, if you would like to register, go to my website, rabbieabe.com. We're going to be discussing the secrets of how to change your destiny, karma, Kabbalah, and reincarnation, understanding the soul's purpose, how we get there, how we change things if we don't like the path that we seem to be on, but we have no control, and so on. More information, go to my website. So here's the thing. Very often it happens that someone comes to me and says, I almost completed the deal, and at the last minute, the whole thing fell apart. How often does it happen that something is going well for us, and then it ends, seemingly out of nowhere? How do we maintain the energy or the blessing that seems to be in something, wherever it is, even in relationship, sustenance, wherever it happens? I'm going to share with you what the Zohar says. Number one, about what blessing is, and then we need to understand a deeper level, and then the secret of how to keep it moving, how to keep it going, that it shouldn't end. Because whether we realize it or not, we are generally the ones who end the blessings for ourselves. Did you ever have the idea that you may have jinxed yourself or maybe given yourself evil eye? Now, we did a video of that a while back. Evil eye exists in many cultures. I know in Spanish it's mal de ojo, if I'm not mistaken. You have to pardon my pronunciation. In Italian, it's malocchio. Again, don't get down on me if I said it wrong. But many traditions have, I know in Greek also, this idea exists. Well, what is it actually really? What's happening over there? So this has to do with speech and consciousness, and it's very interesting how it operates. So, and if we don't realize it, we are, I don't like to use the word jinxing, but we do jinx ourselves. And we may not be able to help it unless we understand the secret of how to stop it. First, let's read about blessing. What is blessing? Where does it come from? So I'm in the Zohar from a section which is called Balak. Balak was a very negative character in the Bible story, and his thing was cursing. His thing was cursing and evil eye. And so the Bible, again, is a code. The Zohar explains that these have to do with all the secrets of how to gain blessing, how to protect your blessings in life, and how to prevent negativity from entering in to our life. Because we know there's positivity, there's light, and there's darkness. That's the way things have been, created in life. It's duality. We must never forget it. It says the discussion we are in deals with blessings. Bracha. Bracha, blessing. And what is the meaning of bless? What is the meaning? What is the meaning when you have a blessing in your life? That is drawing down blessings from where all blessings emanate, meaning from Bina, until they form a pool from that abundant drawing, and then the massing of water in that pool, meaning from that great abundance. Water increased a great number of fish, that is, many levels of several varieties. Okay? So what does that mean? Because the Zohar is also a bit coded. Blessings come from the area on the tree of life, and we must remember this tree of life is not some structure that we're supposed to be climbing in some way spiritually, but rather it's something which is part of the creative process that we are all in. And this tree of life merely explains different levels of consciousness where we may find ourselves, and yes, how to elevate But again, it's more something which is fixed within the creation. So blessing comes from the place which is called Bina. Bina. Bina is part of what we call the upper three spiritual dimensions, or the upper three Sefirot. It has no limitations. It is the source of all blessings. Now, what is above Bina is called Chokhmah. What's Chokhmah? Chokhmah is called wisdom, but it's not what we understand as wisdom. It is wisdom before it is something known. So I need to explain the difference between these two ideas. Okay? Now, this force of consciousness is unknown, or let's call it all potential. Now, potential isn't something specific, right? It is a level of consciousness or understanding where all exists, but at the same time, it's unknown. So it exists, but it's unknown. So I'll give you an analogy, okay? If I flip a coin and now it's under my hand, well, is it known? Well, we don't know, but it is under my hand. In other words, it does exist at some level, not where I am in my consciousness, but it does exist. Just like the idea that I got, a minute ago existed a second before it came into my head, but I wasn't aware of it. Well, where then did it exist before I had awareness? Well, it exists in another realm, which is called Chokhmah, the light of wisdom, the light of wisdom. Now, this light of wisdom has zero limitations. Now, we'll get back to that. Bina, which is a lower level, means awareness, be it all awareness, but it is awareness, and therefore it is a lower level. Chokhmah, or the light of wisdom, is not awareness yet, because we don't know what it is. It's all potential that can exist, does exist, but it is unknown in our dimension, in our level. Bina is something that we are and can be aware, but it's already in another realm which can be grasped by us. And therefore, this idea of blessing is something that we see. We see blessings in our life. We don't know about blessings before we perceive them. I mean, think about that. What do you consider blessing? That which you can see or that which you can't see? Obviously, we see blessings. Oh, I see abundance. Oh, I see blessings in wherever they exist, in my family, in my, sustenance and abundance. In the kind of day that I had today, it was amazing. It was full of blessing. I mean, that's how maybe we speak or feel. Or blessing was lacking. Okay, there's that too. So we felt down. There was emptiness, whatever it was. The Bible, interestingly, or the Torah, meaning in the ancient Hebrew, begins with the letter Bet. Again, now we've been discussing the letter Bet a lot lately, if you follow the videos, okay? The letter Bet. The letter Bet stands for blessing. Now we read, because we just passed through, the month of Capricorn and the month of, we're in Aquarius still, both ruled by the planet of Saturn, both with the letter Bet. Both are created, or the energetic force behind Saturn is that letter Bet, okay? Why Bet? Why the letter Bet? Well, the letter Bet is, as you can see, 3 lines. We explained this a little bit in one of the Aquarius videos. It's a line that goes horizontally on top, vertically, and then a line on the bottom. And this vertical line connects the top line and the bottom line. So it's like a box with one side missing, as you can see. These 3 lines represent a different letter, the letter Vav. Vav is like that straight line. Numerically, the letter Vav is 6 in Gematria. In the Hebrew alphabet, again, the letters are also numbers, and so this letter Vav is 6. So really, hold on to your seats, okay? Now don't freak out anybody. In this letter Bet, you have 3 times the letter Vav. That means 6, 6, and 6. somehow this idea of 6 plus 6 plus 6 has been corrupted to mean something maybe very bad or negative. But in Kabbalah says no, the opposite. Have you ever heard the term chai, life? Which is why the Torah was given and chosen in the creation to start with the letter bet. Why? The letter bet is bina. It's the source of blessing, and it's 18. What's 18? Life. Life is 3 times 6. 6 by itself represents the spiritual world, which I can't get into now. In deeper classes, I would get into it. It's something that is called Zeir Anpin. It's the essence of the tree, the 6 middle levels within, above the physical. There's 6, and then there's 3 on top of that. And so this is the spiritual source. 3 times that 6, because we understand everything operates on a principle of 3. The right, the left, and the central column. Many teachings, religions, philosophies also operate in this principle, but mainly science in the physical world operates on this principle of 3. Like the atom, you have a proton, you have an electron, you have a neutron. We talked about this and why it is so in the crash course that we did. If you didn't hear that crash course, I highly recommend it. Go to my website at rabbieabe.com and you can watch that crash course. You have to find 3 hours. It's packed full of information. So for those of you who always say, well, you always say you'll get into it, but you don't get into it. I get into it over there. 3, the light bulb has a positive, has a negative, it has a filament. So the universe is based on this principle of 3. And it's those 3, 6 plus 6 plus 6. It's those 3-letter vavs that are 18, which is built-in life, the life force, circuitry of energy. That's what it means. Never meant anything bad. Again, it was corrupt to mean something bad. Of course, if people mean it in a bad way or with bad intent, then it might take that on. But we should understand the origin. All right. Now, that's blessing. Blessing. So everything that begins, because just like the Bible begins, any new sustenance, any new deal, any new project, every new sustenance, every paycheck, every new relationship, everything, the beginning of everything, believe it or not, emanates from that. Bet. Blessing. Blessings. We are meant to have endless blessings. It represents endless blessings. That's the source. The source is an endless force of blessing and beneficent. Remember, blessings manifest from a place which we are aware of. Therefore, we see it as a blessing. But it emanates from the stage above, what we call chokhmah, as we said, which is also called the light of wisdom, which you are unaware of, which is absolutely unlimited. Absolutely unlimited and without measure, which I want to read to you for our connection, because knowing is the connection. Remember, we said in previous videos, Adam knew Eve. That's the connection. It's the knowing. It's not the physical. It's a consciousness. If we don't know, we cannot connect. We have to have consciousness about something. Then we are able to connect, because this is the connection first. Yes, what happens physically is secondary. But without intention, without consciousness, whatever action we do has no life force attached to it. So he says, the Kabbalist here, and I'm reading from the deeper study of the 10 emanations, the Tree of Life study, and he says, furthermore, I'm reading in the middle of context, so I'll explain. He says, the amount of desire and yearning, very important. The amount of desire and yearning is the entire substance of a vessel. What does that mean? Meaning that our consciousness and what determines whether we will achieve something or not, and this is a secret, by the way, it may not seem that way, but it is the level of yearning that is in our consciousness. Meaning, how much do we truly desire? Whatever it is. Not how much I need it, how much I want it. No. How much yearning? Yearning is very specific. It's a very specific level of desire that's almost like you're starving to death and you gotta have whatever it is. You gotta have food, almost like, I have to do it. I have to have it. I can't do without it. So when you feel almost obsessed, not with a desire, but with the effort to achieve a desire, because think about it. How do you know when you really want something? You're willing to do whatever it takes. It's very interesting that a real desire is tied up in what we're willing to do. Not how much I want, but I'm still sitting on my couch playing video games. That's not a desire. When you truly want, when you truly have a yearning, you're willing to put in whatever effort is necessarily. You're willing to do whatever it takes, work as long as it takes, overcome any obstacle, because nothing stands before the desire, a true yearning. That kind of desire. So really, desire, the real one, is tied up in how much we're willing to give of ourselves. Isn't that a strange paradox? So real desire is all about what I'm willing to do. And that is a secret, because at that point, we're willing to share, invest, do whatever's necessary. So I know a lot of people, they say, I really want to learn this spiritual wisdom. This answers all my questions. And you know what? It does. But what are you willing to do? How much you're willing to do for it? What are you willing to, give up? Are you willing to give up some time, effort, energy? Are you willing to spend time learning? No, I'm too busy. Yeah, I want all that wisdom. But I don't have time right now. Okay, so do you really want? Then the answer is maybe no. When we really want something, we're willing to do what's necessary. Point clear, I think. So he's saying, number one, this yearning is absolutely important to draw down blessing. If we want blessings in our life, number one, we need to have a yearning for those blessings, which means to do what's necessary to achieve them, not just to desire them. Oh, I'm desiring. No, again, it doesn't mean sitting and obsessing. It means I have a passionate desire for something and I'm going to do the work, my due diligence, whatever it is. Once that is in place, that desire, the level, because there are levels, it's not black and white, right? There are levels of desire. You can be a little hungry, like you want a snack, or you can be starving and, you want the whole thing, whatever it is. This level of desire determines the size or the level of each vessel. Basically, our consciousness has a size, has a capacity. And many things determine that, but he's saying really it's one thing. It's the level of the yearning, the level of desire. Listen carefully. He says, I'll read it in the Hebrew because there's energy. The heat pashtut of the Or Elyon from the Ma'atzil is immeasurable. He says, this light that comes down, this unseen light, which is called light of wisdom, this light, which is unknown before it extends down and becomes the blessings that come through the Bina. Okay, now I hope you're following. The drawing down of energy is still in a state of all potential. It contains all, and it's limitless. And that's what he says. He says, the extension of the light from above, from the creative force, is immeasurable. But it is the vessel that limits the abundant. It is the vessel that limits the abundance. What does that mean? It means we limit it. Once we have awareness already limits. The fact that it comes to our consciousness and we think about it already is the beginning of its limitation. But we don't really have a choice because we do need to think about it. We have an idea, comes to us, and you say, oh yes, I really want that, I need to do that, or whatever it is. Well, we have no choice. Once we decide, yes, I'm going to go on that, I'm going to do this, or I won't do that, whatever it is, we have no choice. We first, of course, have to be aware of it, and then we can choose the direction after that. Then we go through another process. All good. But there are stages that we go through which are limitation. It's a natural process because in the end, we're going to have something manifest in our life. It's a relationship. It's going out on a date. But now once I'm out on my date, if it's about relationship, but once I just landed a new job, as many people, tell me recently, I just started a new line of work, it's already manifest. But when you were looking, it was in the imagination, it was more closer to potential because you don't know yet exactly, what type of job you applied for and so on. So everything has the tendency to go from a higher state of potential and eventually become manifest. And we see how things become limited, but manifest. We have no choice. That's the way things work. So things need to become limited to become activated because we live in a physical world, and this is the level of manifestation. But how would it be? Now think about this. How would it be if we could limit how much we limit? Because the nature of things, I hope you understand what I just said. The nature of things is things tend to become more limited. The further away they come from potential, the more limited they become. That's fine. That's good. That's natural. But we can also, by how we act and how we think, remove the limitations. So whatever it is that we do, maybe my pay will be less limited. I'll be more open for a raise. Maybe this relationship won't be limited to, whatever we think it could be. It could be something much more. Maybe the new business won't be limited to X amount of customers that the previous owners, if you just bought a new business, whatever it is. We're talking about removing the limitations. Because again, as things progress, they tend to be more limited. But if we can inject more energy, or at the very minimum, prevent limitations, like jinxing ourselves. And how do we do that? The first way we do that is, and it's the most important, okay, is by talking too much about it. That's right. We talk too much about it. We talk about our blessings. And that's a mistake. That's a mistake. Different traditions even take this idea to the extreme. I know one tradition, I won't mention the nationality, but if you will ask people of that nationality, so how many children do you have? They won't say, I have 3 children. They'll say, I have 3 blessings. 3 blessings. They don't say, I have 3 children. Why? Because even if they don't understand the process consciously, they know somehow in their tradition that you don't say exactly what you have. You can say, I have blessings. Thank God, everything is a blessing. Thank you. When they ask you, how are you doing? You say, thank God. You didn't say it was good. You don't say, oh, man, it's going great. Why? Why not? Because, again, the source of blessings comes from a place which has no limitation. What did you just do now? You limited it with words, and you spoke it to the ears of somebody else who also has their own limitation and consciousness and ideas and understandings. And never mind if they may have some jealousy or whatever it is, that adds on. So when we, they say count your blessings. Well, yes and no. Count your blessings mean appreciate everything and be open to more, always. But don't be specific. Again, if it's to yourself, yes, that's great. That's fine. That's good. Appreciation is number 1. I agree. Absolutely. It's a spiritual tool. But if it comes, again, because, we are strange creatures. We all have this little lack. And it's sometimes we're totally unaware of it. We have this little lack that says, I want a little recognition. I want to be recognized. I want people to respect me. I want to be loved. I want a little bit to impress somebody else. Not a lot, but a little bit. So they say, how you doing? I say, really well. And you can't help it, but you said, I just did X, Y, Z. I have this, and this. And what do you hope to accomplish now? What do? You revealed, you limited it with your words, and the blessing now has boundaries. Because remember what he said, the blessing is immeasurable. How does it get limited? By us, by the vessel. We create a limitation. Now this is difficult because again, innately, we want people to recognize us. We want, you want people to think good about us. Maybe it's very innocent, but remember, since the time we're very little, what do when we're really young kids with our parents? We're jumping around and we drew something and we say, Mom, Dad, look at me, look what I can do. Yeah, but remember, we're adults, but we still have that mentality. That consciousness is part of us because we want a little bit of recognition. Who doesn't? But we have to remember, it's a very proactive thing to do. Hide your cards. Only on an as-needed basis. Information is only required as needed. If you have any other agenda about it, you opened yourself up to limitation. So I don't call it jinx, but it is a limitation. Why? You limited it with your words, with your consciousness, with you wanted something else in that moment by revealing it. If you wanted a little recognition, you traded the little recognition, hopefully it was worth it, for limiting. Maybe, and I'm not wishing this on anybody, I want us to be smart. Don't limit the blessing. The source of blessings is endless and limitless. It is only us, it is only we who can limit it with our own consciousness, with our own words, and, with the desires, not always for the right thing. It's something very important to think about. Can we fix it? Yes, it's possible to fix it. But we have to go back, and look at those areas where we, I talked a little too much. I revealed a little bit too much. I didn't mean to, but, it got the better of me. What did you want over there? You need to ask the questions. And you need to go back into your own consciousness and say, I don't want that. I don't need that. I don't need that cheap energy, a cheap thrill. I don't need that. I want endless blessings in my life. And my endless blessings is worth, a little restriction with the mouth. That's why the tape. Hold it. I know we want to share our blessings with everybody. Great. That's it. Share in a way that just benefits other people. Don't share to build yourself in that sense. Again, only as needed. Is it needed sometimes? Yes, it is. If it's with if it's with your spouse or partner, okay. Other relatives? Nah, I don't know. They ask you, how's everything? You say, thank God. Thank God. Everything is a blessing. That's the best way to answer. Because you're saying everything is a blessing. That includes the good. That includes the bad. And by the way, it says we need to bless even what we see as bad. Bless the bad in the same way we bless the good. That's probably another video. But in that, we inject positivity to make even the bad transformed to become good. That's what I got for you guys. Be blessed. Lots of love. And remember, if you haven't seen the last crash course, go to RabbiAbe.com. You can get it over there. And while you're at it, sign up for the next one. It's going to be great. Changing destiny. How to change that, thing to better. It's always going to be a better destiny when we change it, because rarely do we do it. We are 99% robotic. I know we don't think so, but we are very robotic in our life. We can change that. Be blessed. See you very soon.